Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Monday. It is a new week, fresh week. We're back with another FunderProTv live stream. We got a couple of viewers starting to hop on.
How's everybody doing? How's everybody's weekend, I guess you say?
It was good. It was a good weekend.
Relaxing.
Spent some family time yesterday, celebrating a couple family birthdays, watching the Steelers get a big dub against the Ravens.
Are you a Steelers fan?
Yeah. I'm from outside of Pittsburgh a little bit.
Yeah, a friend of mine, one of my best friends, he's a Steelers fan too. So he was excited for the win yesterday.
It's always
as well.
a big game. It's always a big game. So coming into market open today, I'm in a US 30 long.
Oh,
I just entered a little bit ago. Also watching Bitcoin.
how did Bitcoin do the last few days?
It's stayed strong, kind of consolidating near its highs.
Yeah, I think that's what I was seeing too. It's at like what, 89 currently?
Yeah, it depends. Like on Trade Locker has it at 90, 90,300.
Okay.
But I think it's a little bit like if you look at Bitcoin futures, it's at 90,700. So I think it's kind of
yeah. Floating around.
But I actually tried a stab earlier and took an L off this level bounce. But I'll be watching reactions to this level here that I have, targeting this upper level here. We made a push up and I didn't get there in the overnight session. So if we can trade above this level, I may look for more Bitcoin longs back up to here. On Friday, that trade ended up playing out. I got off the stream, but we got a nice pop.
I ended with a break even so far this morning. Took a gold long position, which my entry was, I guess, questionable. The trade in of itself and the move was correct, but the total entry. So we had, we were just breaking these highs here. So when price had just broke these highs, and this is what we mentioned, or I was talking about last week, because before last week we were sitting at this area here where we was looking for a break up for price to tap into this 4-hour level of resistance up here. So last Friday when we was on the session, this is what I was looking for, and I said it was likely that we could see this move up if we didn't get it Friday, which we didn't. We could see it early Sunday or during the Asian session open, and that's exactly what we saw on that Asian session open. We seen that we pushed up to this area here. We got ourselves a correction, so we had an impulsive move up, a correction down, and then another move to the upside. I dialed down to the smaller time frame here, and when we had broke through these highs, so when price had broke through this high up here, we had this area broken. I got in within this candle pullback. I'll kind of show you here what my trade was. So I dialed down to the smaller time frame, which is probably where my demise came from. And I had took a bullish long actually here. So it was prior to this high break here. I had my stops below the low, and then I just had my target at the 4-hour key, which was, I believe, like 2601 is where I had it at, if I'm not mistaken. Well, it looks a little bit different here on Trade Locker than it does on TradingView, but 2601 resistance is where I had it at. Let's dial it down to the smaller time frame. And you kind of see here, once we got some volume on the 1 minute time frame here, and price started to break through this high, I went ahead and moved stops to break even, got taken out at break even, came down, liquidated.
That screen's missing right now. I don't see it.
Oh, here, hold on. I don't know.
We lost the screen.
Let's see. Let's try it again.
Wizard TP is in a gold call, gold futures call. Lola Trades, what's up, Lola Trades?
Are you able to see my screen now? No worries. So on the 1 minute time frame, we are pushed up.
Mhm.
Once we broke through the high, I went ahead and moved stops to break even. I wanted to see the volume continue, got taken out at break even. It came down, liquidated to create a steep 15 bottom wick. Now, I did not anticipate this 15 bottom wick here. I wanted to see volume just continue pushing up to my target. And so we ended up getting taken out at break even. It would have been definitely a nice trade. I want to scale in on this move since we have so much volume. I'm going to use my high volume, scale in play, where I would look to target, this was the high that I was looking to target here, or this was the area of interest that I was looking to target. So it was on a 1 hour time frame, not the 4 hour time frame. And then look for these highs. I want to see how price starts to react as we get closer to this area, because this is my key high that indicated, or that started this strong push to the downside. So if this high is broken, we can now start to see a steeper structure to the upside for gold. And this was something that I sent out to my group this morning on the daily outlook, just looking for gold to be bullish and continue this bullish wave here throughout this New York session. So in terms of what I'll be looking for next, I want to see if I can't get a scale in position for this continued bullish move, maybe on a larger time frame after we get some type of correction. I would love to see some type of, move to the downside here in a corrective, not an impulsive move, just a corrective move to the downside, and then a bullish reaction likely off of this level here. And I'll look for a potential long, take out whatever this high is.
Now, when you switch over to the 1 minute time frame, are you trying to see your breakout on the 1 minute or something
No,
else?
so realistically, what I was anticipating is price had just closed bullish on this 15-minute time frame. So the 15-minute closed bullish, and I know that we had this triple top location here. So it was like we were forming at the time a triple top. And it was likely that we seen this get broken through to the upside, similar to what we've seen last week at the start of the Asian Open last week when we were looking for here. I think it was right in here. I was looking for these lows to get taken out here. So it's kind of the same thing. I just knew that we had liquidity below this level with the gap to the downside. Similar to this, we have liquidity above these highs with a gap to the upside that price could push into. So I was anticipating that 15-minute continuation. So when I dialed down to the smaller time frame, I waited for this 15-minute candle to close. After it closed bullish, I knew the next 15 would likely clear these highs. So I just waited for the smaller time frame correction of form. We had broke through these highs on the 1 minute, corrected back down, started to get this bullish move that broke like above this high here. And then that's when I went ahead and took my entry within this area with the stops below the low. And then my target, at my take profit at 26, it was like 01 or 02 or something like that. So that's why I dialed down to the smaller time frame. Where it got me was this steeper bottom wick from the next 15-minute candle, or not the next immediate 15-minute candle, but the 15 after that, the 8:15 candle. That this push down I didn't anticipate, which is why we got taken out at break even. Because then I would say a normal market structure, but how I expected it was a bottom wick not to come to entry, and then just this candle to get, or this wick to get filled, similar to how this kind of played out. I wanted to see that continuation, and in a way we did kind of get that in terms of where price is going, but it just didn't give exactly how I wanted it to. And then I didn't scale into the next 30-minute candle because it didn't form a bottom wick, so I wasn't able to get the continuation of that move there. I wanted to see some type of pullback within this candle. Never really got it. So
sounds like we're watching the same thing this morning. Your zones are pretty close to mine. I know what you mean by that 8:15 Eastern time candle. I think I was in that trade a little while ago. Stopped me out. Well, I did a TP, but it stopped out eventually.
Brian, there were some zones you wanted to show today, didn't you? Do you want me to?
You can flash over real quick. It's really just a spin off of what Kyron just talked about. But so I mean, here's that's the candle you were talking about right there. That did that. So I know exactly what so this one troubled me because, I wanted to jump back in. So you get stopped out somewhere right here because I actually was taking this trade. And then I just didn't see a comeback. I actually did jump back in, I believe, really small, and said, "What am I doing?" I got out on a small profit and said, "I'm just gonna wait now." I don't like to trade between my zones at all. I hate
Yeah.
getting in that habit, you know. And that's that whole, FOMO. But
No, yeah, I get
backing
it.
up, I had these zones marked a few days back, I guess, it was like 4 days ago. So I just continued on those same zones. And when I mark a zone as what I think my labels might be visible, but 4 hour, 4 hour, that's where I'm drawing them off of. I'm seeing them on the 4 hour chart pretty clearly. But when I'm marking these 30-minute key levels and 1 hour key levels, those lower time frames, I'm using those more. Those are weaker to me. So I'm
Mhm.
actually using those as more of a take profit when I'm, or possible stop losses when I don't see that kind of strength. But I think I know for certain if I zoom, what am I looking for? So here's what I'm wondering now, and this is just that's a wait and see, kind of like you were saying, Karen. I'm not going to take anything on this current zone right now until I see some sort of, some price activity, some kind of. I want to see a retest probably, but I really don't. What do you think? And you might have said it a moment ago. I don't recall about this going any higher. I'm feeling like this is a feel. I feel like it's going to fall back. Price is going to fall down on gold. Did you mention that a moment ago?
Yeah, I think where we're at currently is a great deciding point for gold in terms of how it's going to be, because like I said, I kind of mentioned briefly that my key high here on gold is nearing. So at this area is a level where I want to see some type of correction, or not correction, but some type of bearish movement for gold, or at least that's what I'm expecting. I wouldn't say I want to see that, but that's what I'm anticipating here going into this.
Before we went live this morning, I was talking with Tyler that this, I don't know about you guys, but this breakout here that happened during the Asian session, I was saying, gosh, I wish I would have been one of these 24-hour traders just for a day. That for me would have been a classic breakout right there. I would have taken that trade. I mean, and look at that, 30 minutes in it. I love that.
Was that was yesterday during the Asian session, or was that today?
Technically yesterday, but yeah, the beginning of the Asian session. Well, I guess
okay.
that's what, 1 hour or 2 hours, 3. So
Yeah.
3 hours in, 2 hours into the market, roughly.
Yeah, and I came to this late last night, and I was like, "See, I knew it was gonna fill that gap up." Now, I did expect it to do it during the Asian session. I didn't plan to capitalize on that move, which is kind of a fault of my own, being that was the move that I was waiting for Friday to execute on. And, similar to what happened last week with the Sunday move, or the Asian move that happened on Sunday for gold as well, it was similar in terms of just kind of when we got on.
What's up?
I said, what do you got going on? You mentioned the US 30.
Yeah, I'm in a US 30, and I actually took a very small piece of a Bitcoin long too. I looked at the Bitcoin daily chart, and I like the Bitcoin daily chart. Hold on, I can pull my screen up. If you look at it, the Bitcoin daily chart. I like to look at charts without the extended hours on, and Bitcoin triggered kind of a daily buy setup for me, which was a 2-bar pullback, and then this bar is currently red, but we triggered above we triggered above Friday's, or I guess this would have been Sunday's high. But yeah, so I like the daily chart for Bitcoin, and we're trading at this level. So I put on a small Bitcoin long as well, and I am in a US 30 long too. US 30 we had, which that's they're both in drawdown right now. US 30 we had the pre-market action where we were downtrending. We got the spike underneath Friday's low. We got back up above it. We started making new highs on the 5-minute chart here. We set a higher low on the 5-minute chart and got this consolidation here. I don't have marked on US 30, but I have a level right on here too. So that's what I'm watching. We're trading the levels that I have on US 30 right now. So is Bitcoin. We'll see how they play out. Sad FunderProTv, really idea. Thanks, Seth. We appreciate it. Crypto Man's back. It worked. The Bitcoin long worked on Friday. If you guys were on the stream Friday, it doesn't look like it's going to work. Well, this is actually the US 30 trade I'm looking at right now. Let me get back to Bitcoin. Yeah, Bitcoin's holding up good. The trade we took Friday, we actually caught the lows really. This is it here.
You should do a Bitcoin analysis every day. I like this. I don't trade it, so that's why I like it.
Yeah, well, this one ended up being a solid trade for me. I caught the low right here. This was our entry on Friday. I'd taken a stab early in the day. This was my first entry, which I took a stop on. But then I took a second entry here. We were able to hold it. I took some trims here, held it through this consolidation, and we got this nice towards the end of the day. It ended up being a decent winner for me. The Bitcoin long is flipped green. That's starting to work out. I'm kind of aiming for honestly back up to all-time highs on this trade. We have a level here. This would kind of be my first target. Maybe take a little piece off at these pre-market highs. But we'll see how she plays out. The US 30 hasn't stopped me out yet, so we're still in that.
Now, do you like Bitcoin on a challenge, or do you like it on your live account? What do you do it on?
The Bitcoin. Yeah, I'm doing this on the FunderPro 25K challenge that started a couple weeks ago. To be honest with you, I have not day traded Bitcoin very much at all. I'm essentially interested in dabbling because I like trading strong trends, and Bitcoin's obviously in a really strong uptrend right now. So I'm just kind of taking my level system that I normally trade on NAS, that I would trade on any asset, and applying it to Bitcoin, trying to catch some of this momentum if we can remain bullish.
Cool.
So yeah, it's fun. It's a little different, testing the waters a little bit, but
7 years ago, I was crazy wild on crypto.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, I was just. I don't even think I used charts. I just went with community opinion.
Just whatever the hype meme coin was.
It's not like gambling. I didn't really. I don't know. It just didn't suit me. You watch all these people get so rich off of it, and I admire that.
Yeah.
I just couldn't grasp it really. Fast moving, but at least back then, I don't know. Have you taken huge cash profits off crypto?
What's that?
Have either of you ever taken a huge cash profit off of crypto? There's so many people that have. I wish I was one of them.
No, I held some Shiba Inu for probably 2 years. I think I ended up break even after being very red. How about you, Kyron?
Yeah, I got a couple payouts in Bitcoin that I got at when Bitcoin was at 20, like in the 20s last year, August, and then another and I put in more around like 54. So I made a couple $1,000s off of Bitcoin. I wouldn't say anything crazy. Obviously, I wish I would have held it, but I made around like 7-8K. Yeah.
How about our viewers? Has anybody viewing us? Has anybody had a huge cash profit on a crypto?
Yeah. Any crypto deegans in the chat?
I love stories like I bought a car, or I put the down payment on my house with the Bitcoin profit. You hear these stories. I've known one person who did really well. It was an ex-boss of mine, actually.
Nice. US 30 is starting to play out here a little bit. I'm liking the way this 5-minute is set up. I have a level around this 443,566. That will be my first profit target. I don't have, like I said, I don't have my levels marked. I'm gonna mark them now, so you guys can see the hourly levels that I'm watching on US 30. One right in here, and then there's another one. So this, and then we also have Friday's low is right around. You guys watching anything? Anything panning out?
Yeah, gold just created a new high on the smaller time frame, obviously, and I'm expecting a 1 hour bullish close. I want to see a 1 hour bullish continuation coming off of the previous 1 hour. We just got the 30-minute, or we should be getting a 30-minute close here, or 15-minute close, shall I say, in the next 7 minutes. So personally, what I would look to do is just ride the volume of the current trend on this 5-minute time frame. We just got a new high break, so some type of correction and then a continuation within the next either 30-minute or 1 hour candle.
Men with Bussa said, well, by the way, great YouTube name. Men with Bussa. That's a fire name. Said he bought said he bought an iPhone with profits from Bitcoin. Hey, that's better than me.
Hey. Wish I could have bought anything.
If anything, I bought like camera gear.
Hey, it's paying forward for you though, right?
It definitely is. It definitely is.
That's cool.
I had an unfortunate weekend. Actually,
Oh,
lost
your
most
birthday.
of my.
What, you get too wild partying or what?
No, man. I left. You remember when I went to the skate park like last week? I had
Yeah.
left my camera bag there, and I hadn't recorded all last week, so I didn't even notice until I went to the art museum, or was going to the art museum Friday, that I didn't have like my camera gear, like certain lenses. That's in it. My camera bag had pretty much all my stuff. Now everything that's the most important I had at home, but yeah, it
Yeah.
did have a lot of things that I had to replace over the weekend.
No, so you weren't able to find it?
Nah, I'm hoping that I get it back. I was literally recording like an intro to like a little skate film, essentially, and left it. Just
Oh,
completely
no way.
spaced out the
Hopefully you
session.
were fine. That's crazy. Oh, that sucks. I'm sorry to hear that, man.
Oh yeah,
That's
no,
rough.
it was
I know
all
that's
good.
either. Watching the indexes here, I don't love the reaction of the US 35-minute candle right now. We're still holding above the levels, but that's not a great 5-minute close. NAS and SPX are both starting to pick it up a little bit. I have 0.04 lots on this position, by the way. We were up about 120 bucks. We're now down 50-ish on the US 30 long. Bitcoin long is up about 20 bucks. I have 0.10 lots on the Bitcoin position.
Tyler, I got a question. So how many trades do you think on average you take in a week? Or I guess let's just say a day. A day is easier
Yeah,
to.
no, I would say I take anywhere from like 2 to 5 a day is like normal for me.
Got you.
It depends. But I'll do them on different accounts too. So like I'll take sometimes if I lock profits on like say my futures account or something like that. Okay, if I did that in 1 trade or 2 trades, like all right, I'll call that for the day. But then I'll trade my like Forex challenge or whatever it may be. And so like among the accounts and challenges that I'm doing, depending on what it is, I would say probably about 2 to 5.
Okay,
Yeah, for me, it's
okay.
like depends on the account. Depends on the account I'm using. The account usually dictates what strategy I'm using.
Why, Kyron? You trying to say I trade like a maniac over here, bro?
No, not at all. I was just curious how many trades you guys take on
I'm just
average.
kidding. I know. No, I definitely don't mind putting on a trade. I probably should be like a little pickier, but you just I don't know.
I mean,
So
whatever
Kyron,
works for you works for you.
Yeah,
Kyron,
yeah.
you're kind of like me, right? Like if I'm trading supply and demand strictly, and points of interest, so to speak, then I'm trading like 0 to 2 trades a day. If I'm trading my scalping techniques, then I'm all over the map because that's a different account. I'm trading that way and having fun.
Yeah, I hear that.
But what do
Yeah.
you trade in different methods? Because you primarily, I just hear you talking about the support, resistance, supply, and demand.
Yeah, that's really
That's
my
right.
bread and butter. That's kind of,
Mm,
I mean, I really don't experiment too much. I just kind of dial in what it is that,
mhm.
works for me and that I've seen gains in the past and just kind of trying to amplify that. Today was like a misfortune on the trade, kind of one of those right idea, wrong entry type trades. I didn't end up with a loss, so it was a break even, but definitely one of those that I want to, go take a look at and see how I could have done better by. But in terms of, my strategy and capitalizing, I just keep it all the same. No matter what asset it is, I just keep it.
Mm.
That's just what it is. That's what I found that works consistently for me. So
Yeah.
you know, I mean, I'll dial down to like smaller time frames, or I'll trade larger time frames with the same setup, depending on what it may be. But I don't do that on funded accounts or funding challenges, simply because you can't hold positions over weekends, certain things like that. So there are positions that I would swing on a personal account. Like once we get back into a bullish market structure on gold, I'll look
Yeah.
for like swing longs to go take out the all-time highs, because the all-time highs
Yeah.
are going to get hit. It's just like a matter of when, not a matter of if.
Yeah.
So, but I'll capitalize on the same, strategy, I guess you could say. I'll wait for a larger time frame shift and then continuation move and just,
Right.
yeah, copy and paste.
Yeah, I'm really
I wanna-
considering doing a swing challenge myself because if I really want to hold something and disregard restrictions for a funded account, then I'll switch over to my personal account, which I tend to do a lot better in because I do hold. I don't trade in a news event, but I will hold. So
Yeah,
I'm
me too.
swinging
Me
that
too.
thing, yeah, yeah, and might not take profits for a couple of days at times. I don't trade that way with my funded account. I do more in and outs, and but yeah, I'm really getting an idea to go in there and try my hand at a swing challenge, at like a 200K swing.
If
Yeah,
you
you
were,
and me both. You and me both.
Yeah.
how long do you think you would hold your trades if you did a swing account? Like what would be kind of your targets? You think like couple weeks, couple days,
For me,
longer?
it's going to be based on trending, and I'm going to
Yeah.
trade more of those day-to-day trends. So I could go in and out of a trade 2 to 5 times a week. It just depends. It could be once.
Yeah.
And I say 5, cautiously. That's really if it was just switching around, but 2 or 3 a week, 2 to 3 trades per week, maybe. Kyron, what about you on a swing?
On a
Depends on the
swing
market
account?
activity, of course.
I agree. And for me, I would likely execute my trades off of a 4-hour time frame. So like a 4-hour
Mhm.
time frame basis. So I would be looking to hold trades, like even if I was on a swing account, I would have loved to be still holding possible, gold sales, or looking to take some profits in gold sales and then look over for buys. And it would just, like you said, come down to a structural. I will have a larger time frame target, which I would just look for price to hold to. And however long it takes to get there, I'll look to scale in smaller positions to that larger time frame target. And I would
Okay.
still intraday trade, the the smaller time frame moves, but I would be looking to hold more so kind of like it. I don't ever think of swing trading as actually trading, in my opinion. I think of it more as like being an investor. I would invest in certain areas of interest on gold, anticipating over the long term for gold to go up, you know. So wherever those larger time from areas of interest are, and just look to hold. And obviously I scale out of positions at, you know, areas of interest,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it definitely would be, you know, 4 or 5 days, weeks, you know, it could
yeah.
be a month that we hold it.
I think that's
But
interesting too. The swing accounts, I like with a consistency roll, like when you're doing the challenge. I believe the way it's like set up is then whatever your realized profit is, or even your open profit, like whatever profit you have at the end of the day, like when that day ends, say you're up, you know, $500, that's what goes towards your profit in the consistency roll. I'm pretty sure is how it's set up. So it's interesting. Like you really could take like one trade, I believe, that that would pass you the account.
being that it doesn't do over 45% in a single day.
Like multiple days. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think that. Correct me if I'm wrong. But if Lito or anybody's watching, but I think
yeah, I was gonna say that sounds like it would abide by the rules, if that makes sense. Like they
yeah,
didn't say you couldn't pass in one trade. It's just a consistency day rule. Like you can't make more than a certain amount of profits of the target in a single day.
We
But
have a
I
couple.
wanted just to be able to hold through the news. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, you're good.
Yeah, hold through the news is I get disappointed sometimes having to get out because of that. But on my supply and demand trading, I understand. I kind of don't want to be in it, you know. But on a swing account where I'm going to hold longer, I definitely want to stay in with the news, not let that bother me. But I was going to say we have two viewers, Wizard TP and that Trader X. Wizard TP mentioning about swing accounts for metals would be great, and earlier on, Wizard had a comment about gold needing larger or longer stop losses. But I think that's true for depending on the style of trading you're using. But when you're using supply and demand on gold, and Kyron, throw your opinion in. But I mean, seriously, if I'm going at a breakout, I'm executing an order at the breakout of my consolidation, my zone. Then when that structure breaks, that pretty much becomes my stop loss as soon as I get my first take profit. But I think your stop loss placement is going to depend highly on where you take profits. Are you strictly going 1 to 2, and you're going, you know, green, and you got your red zone? I don't do that. You know, I typically I'm taking about 3 to 4 TPs throughout my trade. That's usually equating to about a 1 to 2 or 1 to 3 ratio. I bring my stop loss in somewhere between my first take profit, my second take profit. I bring my stop loss to break even, but I really take conservative trades when I'm doing my supply and demand methods. Swing account, 2 take profits. I'm carrying 1 until I see momentum die down in a huge trend for a day or 2 days. I'm letting my last half of my trade go until the trend changes, unless that trend change hits my break even. So don't know if I said that perfectly clear, but those are my methods for my 2 trading styles.
Yeah. And I think well,
I understand what I said.
no, I was just gonna say, because like I know that EURUSD, and this is how I see it. I don't really look at currency or like I think my stop loss is always dependent on the structure, obviously, kind of like how you said. Like my stop is almost built into my strategy with my entry. Like where my entry is at, my stop goes under that candle that I take my entry. So it's kind of like built in. But in terms of like what you mean or what he says when you need a bigger stop loss for gold, I know a lot of people who trade like strictly like one lot. Like people that just like, hey, look, I want to take every trade out of one lot. And I don't do that because it doesn't differentiate between, you know, how big your stop loss actually is. So for gold, I've understood that a move that would be, you know, 3 or 4 pips, maybe even 5 pips on EURUSD is equivalent to a 50 pip move on gold. So my lot size is much smaller on gold than it would be on EURUSD executing on the same time frame with the same type of volume in the move,
Okay.
I guess you could say.
Yeah.
And so which is why I don't like that lot size consistency range. Funder Pro doesn't have this, but I know of other firms that have that lot size consistency where your lots have to be within inside of a certain range of each other, and it doesn't account for trading different assets at the same 1%. You know what I'm saying? So one lot at 1% on gold on the 5-minute time frame is equivalent to a 10 lot on, EUR USD on the 5-minute time frame. So that range and having to have a consistency of range, I just think is not a good rule. And I'm glad that Funder Pro doesn't have any, thing like that. Samuel said it touched his 4-hour supply body, and if we break 2603, I'm short, or he's going short. So 2603 would be the previous low. So Samuel, that 2603 low, I'm looking at that 5-minute candle of demand at that area. So this is the low that he's talking about here, 2603, and I'm just going to break it down in my terms of understanding. This is creating higher highs and higher lows. So we had a high created, we had a low, and then we had a new high get created here. This becomes now the key low. This becomes the key demand zone here. If this demand zone is now broken through, that is indicative of a shift, and we could see now a change of character and a continuation to a larger continuation to the downside. So I'm assuming that's what he means there. I was already highlighting this area of demand as a possible retest location for a continued bullish long coming off of if this 30-minute candle. So yeah, this 30-minute candle is going to close bullish, and this 1-hour candle is likely going to close bullish as well. Being that we don't get a flip, we could see this wick for the next 1-hour candle get filled and potentially the high get broken, which is kind of what I'm expecting in terms of the trade that I was looking for. So here you can kind of see a little bit better what I'm getting at here. Something along the lines of a move like this for that retest back into our demand zone on the next 1-hour candle, and then to fill this wick to break the high, and all based on this 5-minute structure here. It just depends on how we react off of this level personally. Now, like if he says we get that breakthrough there, then I'll have to look for now a market shift. We have a huge gap to the downside here from all the volume coming from today, as we have not seen any larger time frame correction of this volume here. You can see we just have blue candles throughout the New York session. We haven't gotten a correction after breaking through these highs. So I think that area at 2603 is a good area to be looking at for a possible flip. And if we don't, we could see, that continuation coming into the next 1 hour. That's kind of what I'm looking for too. That trader.
Are either of you able to answer Ryan's question? I'm not like super familiar with swap fees.
You and me both.
Pit value times the swap rate times the number of names. Go ahead.
One way to do it is you can go in, because on the Trade Locker platform, I believe it'll tell you when you go over to your panel for the market panel. I think, right? If I'm talking crazy,
here
I'm gonna. Okay. So yeah, if you take, like, say, let me get to something. Let me get to my other. I want this other account. Let's see. Hold on, guys.
You're good.
Where is my? Go to. Do one of you have? Tyler.
Yeah.
On your screen, are you currently showing? You're showing the panel for.
It's the If
you have it open, right? If you right-click on one of those instruments, you get a details section. And I hit a moment where I have. Do you guys? I think it's a computer issue, but I'm gonna upgrade soon. Too many windows open with charts, and then I'll start seeing a slowdown. If I don't reboot at some point during the day, my trading computer just starts to slow down.
Yeah.
I see the
Yeah.
same with mine. Actually, it's like my disk space storage, so I don't have no storage on my Mac. And so even before we hopped on, I had to delete some things so that it would stop lagging while I was editing.
My storage is always. But yeah, so Ryan, your question about the swap fees. If you go to this is the what do they call this panel? The order panel. Nope, not the order panel. The markets panel.
Market panel. Yeah.
Yeah. You right click on an instrument. It's going to give you more details there.
And
Based
swap
off
fees usually at the bottom.
A Google search tells you that it's your it's the pip value times the swap rate times the number of nights, and the swap rate has to do with the different interest rates. Looks like on currency pairs. So I don't know how that factors in on the indexes exactly. I'm not 100% sure. Sorry, we can't answer that question a little bit better, but
It says that there are triple swaps applied on Wednesday for Forex instruments and on Fridays for other instrument groups. That's just what I'm seeing here under the details in the gold panel. So you can see kind of right here, you got triple swaps applied on Wednesday for Forex instruments and on Fridays for other instruments. The swap buy lot, $52.
That's a valuable little screen there because Tyler and I earlier today were talking about
I didn't
holding
even
overnight, and those swap fees are going to come into play.
Yeah.
And something I learned the hard way quite a while back, but hopefully that answers a little bit of your question. Who was that asked was it that Trader X?
No, Ryan asked. Trader X asked about
Ryan, excuse me,
trading oil. I have never really traded oil. Some oil news this week, I think. So oil could potentially see some volatility, but it's not something that I have actually actively traded. I know some people really like it.
And speaking about news events, as far as FunderPro is concerned this week, I think if you're in a challenge or in a funded account, right, you have it pretty open, very much open today, tomorrow. Wednesday is crude oil. Thursday is natural gas, but Friday I think is going to be the big day because we have flash PMI. And on a Friday, I might not even wake up that day.
I don't blame you.
Why trade on that day? But
hey, listen, you just said you wanted a swing trade account. That's your cue. Get that swing trade account.
That's my bread and butter. If I get it,
the news, baby. No, I'm just kidding. Don't listen to me. That is not financial advice.
I'll just log into my $9 million personal account and do a swing.
So Jay's notebook, he said, what are the trading fees? Is it $7 per trade or is it based on lot size? Right here, you can see the fee per lot, at least for gold. You can see it's $7 per lot here on gold. So this is an actual useful, this is a useful tool here. I never really dove into it.
It can certainly keep you out of the dark.
Yeah, 110. I want to see how gold is going to react here.
You have your screen, I am still in both my trades. The US 30 chart is not looking good. We failed the opening print pretty strong. Looking for us to hold here. I'm considering even bailing a little early out of this trade. But still holding for now. I don't hate the way that Bitcoin is holding up.
This is going to get filled.
That wick's going to get filled?
Yeah, I think it's going to get filled. That would be ideal. Just coming off of that previous 15-minute. It has to. We have resistance. Oh, man. Stay right. Yeah, let's make this.
Trade logger fix a full port button already. I got my finger on the trigger of the exit button, but we're getting a bounce in the NAS. I don't know. This is like I was talking about that before, where we're getting like US 30 and NASDAQ have been inversing each other pretty frequently. It's like one of them's getting strong while the other one's getting weak. It's been happening a lot over the last couple months.
So when I was rambling off those news events for this week, I missed one. I don't remember you guys. I don't know if you corrected me. I don't think so. Unemployment claims. It's not a restriction, but
I was going to say, yeah, I didn't see that on the restricted list.
Is it on the restricted list? It's not, is it?
It's not, I don't think. There's oil, like you said, Wednesday, and oil on Thursday, and then PMI on Friday. I didn't see anything about the unemployment.
No, yeah, there's none. I keep my own news log.
I'm just going to show my screen here real quick, Karen.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Still holding US 30. As you can see, we spiked into Friday's low to the tick, and we're holding for now. My stop is down below this 5-minute swing low that we had pre-market. So I like this initial reaction. So happy with the hold. Nice little pop above both levels. We're right at the opening print. I didn't mark the opening print today, but I like that. I like that it's holding while SPX and NAS are both. They're also. I think I'm lagging a little bit here. No. If we look at NAS, it's getting a nice pop. If you look at SPX, it's getting a nice pop. So I like to see the US 30 level hold while the other indexes are also getting a little bit of strength. So see if these indexes can start working in unison a little bit together and make a leg up here. Let's see if we can get. I like that hold. I like the 5-minute chart shaping up. Still in Bitcoin as well. It's put a nice little 5-minute buy off of this level that I'm watching. So still in both of my trades, just holding for now. Just holding for now. US back in the green. Sam, you're in the chat. Sam, you bought showed you guys Edgeful. I know Sam bought it. Have you checked out the reports, Sam? Is there anything that you've liked on Edgeful that's been like interesting? I know you mentioned the one thing in the chat that was like a 80-90% probability. They have a ton of reports. I was just curious your thoughts on that since you got it. Hype for futures accounts whenever that happens. Me too, Ryan. I'm super hyped for the futures accounts.
Yeah.
So I got a question. So would that be equated to, let's say I maxed out the capital on the FunderPro, Forex account?
I think two separate. To answer your question, I think it would be considered two separate.
Right.
Like,
okay.
If you max Forex funding, they're not going to say no. You can't get funding with futures. I think they're going to be two separate accounts in that sense.
Gotcha.
Where you could max out in both.
Okay.
That'd be
Okay.
sweet.
Yeah, because I was about to say I'll trade gold on both of them.
There you go. Yeah. Party at Kyron's.
Both my trades back in the green. Happy with the hold. Thought wasn't looking great there for a bit, but it didn't invalidate this low, right? So I didn't rush to any decision making process. I wanted to see how we reacted to Friday's low. I had my finger on the trigger because this 5-minute got pretty ugly, but so far we haven't gone very far at all on any of the indexes. Everything's still trading right around its opening print for New York. So kind of a slow start to a Monday. Strong 5-minute closes across the board though. What's this 15-minute look like?
And next week we have a U.S. holiday, so might see some major slowdown in the markets midweek
Yeah,
next week.
yeah.
We have
Yeah,
what
so
next week?
U.S.
Thanksgiving's coming up.
holiday.
Oh wow.
You forget about Thanksgiving, guys? Come on.
Yeah, look, I have been locked. I'm telling you,
Yeah, man.
been locked these past
What
couple of
month is
weeks.
it?
Time is just going by fast.
Kyron's so in the green, he's forgetting his name.
Oh man.
It's because you're so profitable, right? You just don't know what to do with all their money.
Yeah,
Track
I
Cash
hope to
said
have that problem.
I don't think US 30 is not ready. Still hold aggressive break 5,900 level.
He meant SPX 500.
Oh, okay. Oh, SPX, yeah. Let me see SPX. Yeah, that's a really strong 5-minute close. The 15-minute is still playing out on SPX. I wouldn't hate so a pattern that I like to use sometimes is something that Al Brooks talks about in the trading book, reading price charts bar by bar, and it's a 3-bar play. Which it's a strong trend bar in any direction, followed by a consolidation or kind of a rest bar, smaller inside bar. So if you look at SPX right now on the 5-minute, we got this really strong bullish 5-minute candle. So if this 5-minute candle would kind of continue to trade near this 5-minute high and kind of put in just kind of like either a small red bar or inside bar like that, preferably. This would be bar 1. Bar 2 is considered kind of your rest bar, consolidation bar. And you can look to enter that trade looking for a move higher with a stop underneath that rest bar. So that's a 3-bar play that he talks about, which is an entry I like. And for those of you who use candlestick analysis or candlestick chart reading is applicable in all time frames, right? So if I'm using a 3-bar play on a 5-minute chart or a daily chart, like it's still the same thing. So the 3-bar play on a daily chart is something that I would like to use for potentially like a swing trade idea or something like that, right? So the daily chart gave us a strong bullish bar and then followed with a smaller inside bar like that. That's a time where I look to maybe swing along overnight or something like that. So, but yeah, that's a thick book by Al Brooks, but there's a lot of good gems in that book.
For US 30, I think 430, 450 aggressive break is his first indication for buys. Do you I know, Brian, we kind of trade more so gold. Do you ever tap into US 30, Tyler, and trade that?
Yeah, I do. Obviously, like I'm in it right now. I'm in a US 30 long now, and it's
okay.
So when I'm trading, I'm always watching the four indexes at like the same time. Like I watch NAS and XBX. I have this like big grid view that I watch on TOS. So like I'm watching ES, which is SPX 500. I'm watching that on like the 2, the 5, and the 15. Like that chart's always, those 3 are always up there. And then on NAS or NQ, same thing. I'm watching the 2, the 5, the 15. That's like always up on my screen. And then I have the hourly for those 2 always up on my screen as well. And then I keep a 5-minute chart of US 30 and RTY, which is like the small cap stocks, the index for that. And so I watch all 4 of those at any given time. And for the reason that I'm trading US 30 and I'm not trading NAS right now is because US 30 had a level in play, like these lower levels in play. And so I like taking trades off of levels to where NAS was opening in the middle of levels for me. So that's why, essentially, right? I just if I'm taking trades, I like to trade with a level as a reference point. And right now, the only thing I really have to work with on NAS is the opening print, because we open smack dab in the middle of Friday's range. But man, I was actually shooting this too, not to just get on too much of a tangent. I'm hating that US 30 is not getting any continuation right now. That's frustrating. But I wanted to show you these levels that I use and the accuracy. I had some serious FOMO after missing the short from Friday. I'll pull the 15-minute chart. So this level is actually not. So these were the two levels that I had on. Let's see, what did we open? This is it. Yeah, coming into play. I actually had a level right here too. Here's the 930 candle. Here, yeah. So coming into the day on, by the way, very strong 15-minute candle on the NAS right now. Coming into the day on Friday, these were the hourly levels that I had on. But we had this huge range. Like I had so much room below, and I even told Sam at the beginning of the stream, like, you know, we have a lot of room below. I wouldn't hate a short here, but I didn't get in one. I just had 930, and we just made this massive move. I did have a level somewhere here too. It was, you know, several hundred points, over 300 points, and it didn't give us a whole lot of reason to close. Just a trend, you know, and just the accuracy of the levels. We just never got a level test intraday to give a short. Like I wanted to see a test of the above level because I just believe the way that I trade my system that the market trades level to level. So for me, had I been in short, I would have been looking to hold all the way to this lower level down here. And I just never got an entry, and the trend was just so strong. So I had some serious FOMO on Friday. Luckily, I caught the Bitcoin long, but this move was just such a clean, easy to hold trend. There was no reason. If you got in a short somewhere on the NASDAQ on Friday, the market gave you no reason to close it. The market structure at no point in time ever started to shift into an uptrend, not once. It stayed in a clean downtrend the whole way down for 350, 400 points. So that one incited some FOMO for me on Friday for sure. Also, I just want to show you that because I love these levels, man. They get such good reactions and they're such good targets. I'll show you the ways one of these days, Kyron.
Yeah, definitely. I need your ways.
No, I'm just the levels are good, man. If you incorporate them into your trading, they're definitely good.
Gold is kind of making that reaction. Well, it kind of had a bullish reaction. It didn't have a bullish reaction off the level I wanted to see. So it is kind of filling the wick of, or it already filled. And if I'm not mistaken, oh, here, I got you. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was gonna throw you up. US 30 can't break out this. It's just 43,460 area here, just rejected again. So starting to lose faith in that one a little bit, that's for sure.
So I kind of mentioned how I wanted this next 1 hour candle to be. I would love for it to have tapped into the demand zone on the 5-minute and then fill the wick of this candle here. That's more so what I was looking at. But if you take a look on, the 5-minute time frame, you can see where we kind of reacted off of and where we're getting that bullish move. And it's going to break this high here within this. Since this candle closed bullish, it'll likely just take out these double highs here and break that previous 1 hour high. I would have loved to see a scale in. If we could have gotten a move to the downside here to tap into the demand zone, and then a market shift similar of how we got this push down, we got a correction up, a new push down, then we got a break of this high here. This now becomes the key low. As long as this isn't broken, we can push to break through this high up here. And I would have, loved for this to happen just at my area of interest. Because it didn't happen at my area of interest, that still leaves for room to the downside. But especially just coming off of the previous volume of the previous 1 hour candle, which is all we was really expecting was, you know, a steep bottom wick and then a break above the previous 1 hour high, which is, you know, has already executed within, you know, within this move here. And we'll likely potentially see a steeper move to the upside. We kind of got a shallow break here. So I'm expecting this to kind of feel and close above this level here. Being that we already got the break, the previous 15-minute is bullish. The previous 30 minutes just filling the wick of the previous 30. And I think the 4 hour has already filled the wick. So just all time frames here showing signs of bullishness, which is why I wouldn't look to fade the volume. I really wanted to see a steeper move to the downside to this 5-minute demand zone so I could go long, but we didn't quite get that. So in terms of feeling FOMO, I get it, bro. I indeed I do. Missing out on these moves.
It was it was a choppy week all week, Monday through Thursday, and then Friday just had some good moves. I just didn't execute as well as I would have liked to, for sure. But that's trading. As I said on Friday, it's not Pokemon. You're not going to catch them all.
Indeed, cannot catch them all.
A wise man once said. Man, I hate watching NASDAQ and SPX pump while US 30 just is starting to fail this move. That's frustrating. Still in it right now.
44 the Punisher said, do we I'm sure he's asking, do we not trade forex? I actually do. I trade EUR USD, and I kind of like the move on EUR USD today. Obviously I trade gold more attentively because the price action is generally cleaner, but I was looking at EU in terms of where we were at. I wanted to see this push back up into this demand zone here, and this morning we was in a nice or supply zone, excuse me, this morning, and realistically I just want to see this gap up here get filled. So if we dial it down to dial it up to the larger time frame, you can see that price has not yet filled this gap where we have resistance at. We have an impulsive move, a corrective structure, because it only took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 candles, 7 candles to make this down move. Is taking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 candles to get just barely 50% of this overall move. So we have an impulsive move, a corrective structure, anticipating another impulsive possible move to the downside as long as this high isn't broken. But in terms of just the price action in the candles, it just wasn't as clean as gold was, you know, coming into the session for today. So I do trade EUR USD, but gold was just much cleaner in terms of price action and volume for today, which is why I kind of, you know, been hands off for EU for the past couple of weeks too. It's not just, you know, today or this week. I haven't traded EU in the past couple of weeks, but you got to look at what kind of volume we've had here on gold. You know, this isn't your everyday market volume. You know, there are times where we have weeks where we're just within these ranges here, and this is a much harder, you know, area to capitalize. I'm not gonna say it's much harder, but it just doesn't offer the same risk rewards as the clean price action that we've had in the past couple of weeks here with gold. So I've only been focusing on gold simply because of this bearish price action that we have, and it's looking like we're gonna get a break of this previous key high. So well, no, I'm not going to call it yet. We haven't broken this high, but this is an area of interest for sure at 26.18 that can be indicative of a larger time frame shift. I still was inclined to a steeper retest to back down into these levels here, because since we had broken through this low. But in terms of the larger time frame structure and where we were at on the larger time frame, this is an area where we can start to see some type of rejection, as we've seen already here. And if we get, especially if we get breaks through, I would say 26.53, that's when we can start to see this, you know, running long, breaks above these highs and highs up here. But as of right now, you know, I'm an intraday trader, so I only capitalize on a smaller time frame move. I would have loved, let's see, actually, I'm going to go through, since we missed that move, I'm going to remark out the structure and identify, you know, areas of interest. We can see the volume is starting to slow down a little bit up here as we tap into this larger time frame supply zone, which is why I wouldn't have looked for a Hail Mary move and simply just a break of the previous 4-hour high or the previous 1 hour and 4-hour high. But I definitely want to see maybe within the next, let's go to the 30-minute time frame. Yeah, so this 30-minute is going to close bullish. Maybe we can get one more stab at a correction and a continuation now that we broke through the high. I'll dial down to the smaller time frame, identify the market structure. Don't really like the current volume. So where we would have to see price hold would be this area here, because this is now my key low. This is the low that started for the move that broke this previous high, which is an area of resistance. You can see price pushed up. We broke through these highs. We came back down. We still didn't break this low. We closed bullish, and then we made a stab at a move up. Now that we've cleared this high, a steeper correction is likely to fall or likely to come. But we just got all that volume coming off of the previous 4-hour being bullish, 1 hour, 30-minute, and 15-minute being all bullish. So I'm just looking for a slight play if we can see volume continue based on this smaller time frame. If not, I won't force it, obviously, but if we can get into this area of interest, and price may just come to here depending, since we have so much volume, and then continue to push to the upside. But it just depends how price reacts once we get into, if and when we get to this level. So hoping that we get to this level, we could see some type of move to capitalize. Volume is definitely slowing down, so I wouldn't say that this would be, a big haul, long haul move. This will likely be a smaller, quicker move, because we can potentially start to see, a shift happen. And now this becomes the key low. So if this low is broken here, since it broke for this high, now market can switch from being in a bullish market structure to now being in a bearish market structure. So that's the next move that I'm looking for. Hopefully we can get something here. If not, I'm just not going to trade this into too deep into New York session. This is just, what I'm looking for currently.
I'm going to peep some oil.
Oh, you're good.
No, I'm just good. There's I know Xavier mentioned oil earlier. I know we got some data this week. I took a stop on US 30. Ooh, baby, she's pumping. I've never traded oil. I'm just browsing. Oh yeah, unfortunate stop for me on why I'm frustrating. Didn't get the follow through I was looking for. Interesting. Why I'm kind of basing this daily here.
This could have been the whole pullback I was looking for right there. Just enough to that next, what is it, 15-minute candle? Oh no, this one hasn't closed 30. Yet. So no, we haven't closed yet.
15. What time frame are you considering the pullback?
I would love to see it come after, so a larger time frame candle close. So whether it's this 30-minute candle that closes in the next 5 minutes, and then we see a steep bottom wick from the next 30 to fill whatever the candle high is of this current 30. I mean, this is to textbook, except for the fact that it just barely missed outside of my range. This is exactly what I was expecting in terms of what I drew up with the candle that I'm anticipating. And so kind of the same thing. Where do we have resistance at? This is an area of resistance. Since we have so much volume, we might not go all the way back to that demand zone. We just see it like a retest, kind of like what we just seen with this current 1 hour candle. And, if that's the case, that's just one of those moves that I just kind of have to stay out of. I won't look to, because I only don't like it because volume is beginning to slow down as we get higher into these areas and we tap into this larger time frame supply zone over here. We can start to see, it's just a higher risk trade in my opinion, because we could start to see some type of correction and continuation down. But after this 30-minute candle closes, where I would be looking for a plausible entry. My entries, I always like to get in at the lowest point of the candle. So after a candle closes within this bottom wick, within this bottom wick, within this bottom wick, and generally it aligns with a smaller time frame structural level that I'm anticipating price to tap into. Gold, this has happened obviously this happened a lot where gold will come to an area of interest or come close to an area of interest, but not tap into it in high volume times and continue pushing. And I've been able to scale in on trades after the fact. If we get one more pushback in here, we could get maybe one more move. But I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to look to chase this. The two entries that I was looking for today, which was down here after this 15-minute candle close, I got in there, wanted to see, price run up to that 2602 levels. Got taken out at break even with the liquidity grab within this bottom wick. And then, didn't quite get that pullback that I wanted to see there. So two great moves, just not able to, capitalize on them this day. So we're just going to keep looking. The markets are always producing more moves. So I'm not going to, trip over it or be upset. I'm not upset about it. I'm going to have a, a great day, great rest of my day. And regardless of if we get this pullback or not, which was harder back in the day to do. It used to frustrate me when I would not be able to capitalize on certain market moves, and I would be so frustrated with missing it that I wouldn't be open to looking for what is the next move. Where is the next potential opportunity? Because the markets are constantly moving and updating. So there's always going to be another move. And I've just had to be keen on, okay, we miss a move, where's the next immediate move that I'd be able to get potentially, so going from that.
I think the US oil chart looks really interesting if you are somebody who has a swing account. I think today makes a whole lot of sense for entries looking to swing. I'll pull up the chart here in a second. Sorry. I think US 30 just ran my stop. I am not a happy camper. Anywho, what's that?
Oh, I just said this one candle was beautiful. Like this would have been
yeah.
a great volume.
Look at anybody who is watching oil this week.
For the Punisher said, can I look at AUD CAD? Sure. I used to trade AUD CAD. I don't trade it actively as much, but
if you look at
stepping into the markets,
the higher time frame oil chart, looking at the weekly chart here, right? We are clearly at a very interesting place. We are at an area that has acted as both support and resistance. And this area here, which I think makes it super interesting. Obviously, we've rejected from here before. You can see some of the strong moves. This area has acted as support. And that just happens to be right where we're sitting, coming into a week of data. I think if you factor in the presidency, the Trump being pro-oil, kind of fundamental catalyst to that, I'm not going to do it because I've never traded oil before and I don't have a swing trade account, but I don't hate the idea of putting on some oil longs heading into the data and holding them, targeting holding them into Friday or even longer, to be honest with you.
I think that area that you just marked out is a key zone.
For sure. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. And we're sitting right there. So I think if like the data comes out good, I don't know how oil inventories, how that stuff kind of plays out because I've never looked into it before. But if you get some positive data, I could see this chart getting strong. Given the incoming presidency and all that kind of as well.
Mm-hmm.
I could see the oil chart getting.
I would love to get good at trading oil.
Yeah.
I would love to get good at that, trading oil.
What do you, Sam, what do you think about this? Would you consider a position on oil right now? You've traded it before. You said you went long on oil mid-September. Obviously, you closed out, so you're not actively trading at the moment, but yeah, I feel like oil is one of those things that you're in some oil. A Trump tweet can can send oil one way or the other pretty severely.
I haven't
That's a good
looked
way to
at
put it.
U.S. oil in a minute. Let's see. He
I
said
gotta admit,
66.
I got bought back in a YM or not a YM, a US 30 long. I think they just ran my stop, and we can see the move now. The other NASDAQ and SPX are both getting a nice pump. Zoom back in here. It's on the weekly chart. I always get like so far out there. So we got that spike under this low here. We're now getting buying back up into the levels. We're still below the opening print. I did try a re-entry on this one. Still holding the Bitcoin too. I'm up $35 in the Bitcoin position.
What is that? 2611.
Let's see. Look at that pump by Nas right now. I got a little FOMO that I'm not in that because I'd love to long the NASDAQ. Held a nice bounce. I didn't notice this. That was a nice bounce off of the Globex opening print that we had right here. That's why I love these. You'll hear me say opening print like I'm beating a dead horse, but like you just see the price reactions. I'm like, this is where we opened when the market opened on Sunday. Just look at that, such a nice hold, and just so I love using the opening print as reactions. I kind of dropped the ball not having that one marked up there. That's a nice bounce.
The 30-minute candle for gold just opened up. I want to see how this reacts. It got a move to the downside now, which is good in terms of creating its bottom wick. But it can indeed flip bullish. I would love to see a steeper move to the downside. Like, that's really the only thing that would incline me into gold. If it retests this like 2610 level and just buys off that level, I'm just gonna let it go. So, okay, this is kind of what I mean. So we just got that 30-minute that 30-minute bullish candle close. The current 1 hour appears to be bullish. This is a pretty decent sign here. If we look at the 30-minute, this is an area. Well, let's take a look at like the 5-minute. This was that previous high, right? So price could retest this level and continue pushing bullish to make that bottom wick and then get a bullish flip. I would much rather a steeper move within our 5-minute demand area for a possible bullish flip on the smaller time frame, and then a target of the high at 2612. That's where I look to target. I would much rather see like volume kind of like this than the volume that we have right here, because this is showing signs of weakness, but overall still in a bullish structure. Yeah, and if this flips and it just continues running, I'm so serious. I'm not buying this. It can go at this point.
It can just go without you, right?
Yeah, it can. It really can.
I mean, like it's in a deadly location right now. I wouldn't do it, but I'd go bullish on it if it can pull back on the 15-minute chart. If it could pull back to at least 2609, 2608, I would consider it. Definitely if it took a dip into, what would be my zone, the 07 area.
2609, 2608. Yeah, I see what you're talking about. That looks
and I hear what you mean too. I think we both have a generally the same bullish setup or
and for me, this comes down to trying to get like a premium entry. But like this area that you mentioned, 2609, 2608, that is an area where it could definitely flip off of. And so
now, why I would want it to come down. I wouldn't go bullish unless it came down to that area of 2608.50, somewhere in there. Is all based really on my stop loss target. So my stop loss, I would be targeting my initial stop loss probably 2604 at the most if I went bullish. 2605. I'm gonna be that, to me, that's fairly tight. That's a very common stop loss for me. Go
Yeah.
bullish at 08 and make my stop loss at 04, 05. That's the main reason why, you have a valid reason not to chase it right now. I need it to come down because I want my stop loss to be at the bottom of my zone.
Yeah, you and me both. That's pretty much
Yeah.
how I trade and capitalize too. And that how I call it is my premium zone. So just an area where it gives you the best risk to reward, I guess, and is the safest, I guess you could say. It's closest to my key level that needs to be broken for it to be a shift or whatever.
NASDAQ is given the vibe it is going to erase Friday's entire move down right now. She's getting bullish.
For Hiddle says, I see gold getting into a 4-hour order block that would be also a touch of the 4-hour 50 EMA. So I don't know too much about EMAs because I don't use them. But in terms of, where we're at on the 4-hour, I definitely think that this is a key level of resistance. Now, if we're just talking about how I believe that price is going to move just structurally, I think this high is getting broken. I don't think that we're going to hold this area. I'm fairly confident that if especially we get a candle to close bullish above this level here, that we can see this high get taken out, this high get taken out. And I don't know that we'll start to make this, well, maybe not this high get taken out, but this one for sure. But I don't know that we'll start to make this move to fill this gap up here. But if you just look on the daily time frame, according to the daily time frame, this really is the first level of resistance for gold. Just within this bearish wave, we obviously have resistance over here, which is why we're seeing price struggle where we're at now. I just don't think it's going to be enough to hold it up with the current amount of volume that we have here for gold.
I think I understand the comment on the 50 EMA. That's my favorite. I don't make trades based off the EMAs, but the 50 EMA, especially on my 15-minute chart, is flash over to my screen here.
Yep.
And so if I keep it right. So I believe, let me double check that. Yeah, that's my 50. So, I will flash to that sometimes because almost for what our viewer's saying there, here it is. The price is currently over two of my key zones. And that's when I start noticing the 50 EMA. Now, if you consider, then it starts getting, he said the order block, but it starts getting into what's your interpretation of the order block. But, how do you spot it? But if I compared it to my zone right here, that's actually something. Now, what I think he's saying is we pull back, and I think it would bounce off that 50 EMA, much like it did right here. That's what I think he's mentioning.
Yeah, referring to. Got you.
Yeah, it's at such a steep climb right now on this bullish trend that this 50 EMA in just about 30 more minutes is going to be right up in here, in this between these zones. Wait for that bounce. And if I talk about going long a moment ago, when I would be going long, right? I stated I shouldn't have been saying prices. I should have said my key zone. So right there would be my stop loss. I'd want to quickly move it into a break even, but and I don't know about you, Kyron. I don't draw my zones arbitrarily. I'm very, very picky about my key level. And then for gold, I usually go on these little rectangles. I have a habit of going 20 pips up, 20 pips down. I like a nice, even key zone. A lot of people will come in and say, well, I favor it like this, and I'm not one of those people. I like to actually come in because I don't really need that zone. I'm looking at my level primarily. What's your opinion there? Do you use your key level, or are you really focused on a zone? Because some people like me will draw the key level before entering the zone. and applying it. Some people, like I think you just draw the zone. Am I correct?
So my zone is essentially okay. The top of my zone is my key level. So every time I have, let's say for instance, we're looking at gold in a bullish market. Anytime that I set up a zone, which is generally at a demand or supply zone, I'll set. In this case, we're looking for buy. So I'll set an alert at the top of my zone, at the tippy top of my zone, so that I can know that, hey, price is just pushed into your area of interest. And from that level, that initial line level, that top level, it can flip from right there. It doesn't have to. It's just an indication that, hey, we're at this level. Expect a flip from here, from this level. And then wherever it happens, that's where I'll execute off of. But yeah, I generally... I learned early on, I guess you say in my journey, that price trades from range to range. So I used to, if I could pull up my screen here real quick.
I have you up.
It's right here. Yeah.
So you're there, man.
I'm ahead, man.
Tyler's on his game.
Yeah, no, facts. So how my charts would look way back when was something like this, where I would have this range, this range, and then I would have like this area here marked out. So how I would do it is I would be, back then I would be like, okay, if we break through this zone here, this is the next zone, the next immediate level that we're looking at, because that's just where we have resistance at. And if you wanted to play it safe, you could say right here, this is the next immediate level we have some resistance at. So I would set zones like in this fashion, just how, if price break through this level here, we could run up to the... Now I understand it as supply and demand, but back then I just understood that price goes from one zone to the next zone. So I would literally target zones, take profit. We get a break of a zone, entry, take profit, and then
that's addicting, isn't it? When you first learn I should say, when you first start profiting big off zone to zone movement, almost just that's it. I can't trade anything but that now. That's just the way to go.
Yeah.
That's how you get the confidence to hold those trades, is by when you start to realize how often it really does move zone to zone or level to level. Because I feel the same thing as you guys in that sense, where it's just that's what the market does. Just to update the Bitcoin long. Bitcoin long is starting to work out. We came up and tagged this kind of obviously this area of resistance that we saw overnight. So I'd like to see us break this to come give a level tag here. I'm in pretty small on this, so I'm only up like $160. But
hey,
looking for
wait, that's
that was me. He said he's up some dollars, so hey.
We'll see. So that's starting to work out. Then my US 30 re-entry so far is working out, but we're right at that area where we have rejected. So really need this area to break. It's looking good so far. I haven't taken any profit on these trades yet. I'd like to see a little bit more, and I'll start to take some trims and off a little bit.
That's great.
The index.
I like listening to you guys' variations of the same things. Cool. It's really great.
Oh man, they really that was a great stop run for me on US 30. Oh, look at that.
Just barely it just took you out and then went up.
Yo, Victor Jones Jr., I love you. I'm showing you some love.
Look at gold coming down here.
Comment box. I personally don't use moving averages, but I don't have any issue with them whatsoever. I know some really successful traders that do. Charlie Munger, who is Warren Buffett's partner, one of the most successful investors of all time, said that anybody could beat the S&P just by investing in stocks that pull back to a certain moving average. I think he said the 200-day moving average. So yeah, I definitely don't have any issue with them. I just prefer more of a naked chart.
I'm just reading these comments here. Yeah, FTC stands for the culture. For the culture.
For the culture. Out the gate, baby!
And we know you're cultured. You went to, you said you went to the museum this week.
Oh yeah, I did. I went to the art museum. I took some nice pictures.
Yeah,
Was
see?
able to make some.
That's classy.
Some
That's
content.
class right there.
Yeah, it was
Art
it was
museum.
definitely peaceful.
Well,
Me and my
did
girl
you see
enjoyed
his
ourselves.
fit, Brian? Did you see his fit on Friday? This man was oozing drip. He was oozing drip.
The lady at the art museum said it was giving her Van Gogh vibes.
That's like what a compliment right there, man.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Let's go, baby. Pump it up. Let's keep this pump it going. Pump it up.
Gold is stuck.
I think the Nasdaq's erasing Friday's whole move. She's looking good. Yeah,
don't
Look at that.
don't feel bad. The comment box for the culture effects. That's just my brand. That's the name of my group, if you will.
The comment box. Listen, I'm 33 and I turned 34 in December. So
Hey,
I don't know how old Brian is. Brian might have
saying thanks for your time, guys. See you next time. And right now we're scheduled Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays with a slightly different lineup every day. Tyler, I think you're on each one, but Jenko, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for hanging out.
Yeah.
24, nice.
Yeah,
nice.
I think that's really cool. How many viewers are return viewers? Just wondering. Sometimes I'm recognizing the names, but I see new names every once in a while. But I don't know if I'm catching all the viewers as they scroll by.
I know 44 the Punisher, seen him before. Wizard.
Yeah, I recognize a lot of the
names. Talk to Wizard.
Yeah. Yeah, some of the names look familiar, but it's hard to catch them all. Is anybody here for the first time?
I don't trade Forex pairs. I trade the indexes. And now you can call me a Bitcoin master after the last 2 days.
Yeah.
No, I'm most of the time trade NAS. I'll also take trades on SPX and US 30.
Yeah,
but
I just trade generally.
I pretty much stick to that.
On there.
Gold and EU. I generally just trade gold and EU. And for the past couple of weeks, really the past couple of months, just been focused on gold and the gold price action. That to me has been more than enough. If you can capitalize on the individual days and the waves that are in the market.
It's more forgiving, I think. Gold can be more forgiving on stop losses. The Euro USD pair, man, that used to kick my butt on my stop losses. I had such fast movement at times.
For my lot size, I trade, if I'm trading the indexes, I'm trading like 0.03 to 0.06 lots when I'm trading on the indexes, and that's with a 25K account. With the way I trade in that lot size, I'm able to have stop losses that are like $150 to $200. That's how I typically trade the indexes. Bitcoin, I don't think it has as much leverage in order to trade that. So I've been using like 0.25 or 0.30 lots when I've taken Bitcoin trades. Today, I was already in a US 30 trade, so I only took 0.10 lots on my current Bitcoin trade.
Yeah, it's definitely relative to the account size. I found on the 25K account on gold is somewhere between a 0.5. I want to say is my average in terms of my lot size. On 100K, that can range from anywhere to 1 to 3. I think one to 3 lots. It just depends, and obviously it gets bigger for my 200K accounts as well. So it really just depends on the account size. But every trade I take at no more than 1% of the total account balance, I guess you could say, because Tyler, I know you like to do the percentage of the amount of drawdown that you have on the account.
Yeah.
But Me personally, I take 1% of whatever the total account balance is. So whatever the lot size is for that. And for Trade Locker, what I really like is that it has that built-in feature where you can just set your stop loss and your take profit, and you can see how much, dollars you're risking. So you can really dial it in and make sure it's above or below a certain, a certain area. But before that, I would just literally, I had a lot size calculator, and then I used this like once. This magic keys,
Oh, there you
probably.
go. There you go. Cam, I appreciate you. Yeah, I got stopped. I took a re-entry on it. Looks pretty good. Hoping we get a little bit more. I'd love to get a pop up into the level it would turn into a really nice trade. Bitcoin's still moving. Comment box. Unfortunately, none of us would have to say on the free trial thing. I know that was a cool thing they had. I think what they found that it was promoting a lot of gambling tendencies when they had the competitions and then the free trials. Very few people were trading them with good risk management. Everybody's pretty much just trying to full port them, right? And I think they just found it was creating some bad habits that they didn't think was overall beneficial. So yeah, so I think we got Cam's cat's now commenting in the chat. The
Yeah,
Cam's cat giving me W's for this Bitcoin trade, baby. Let's go.
the comment box. What I would do though is I would open just a demo account with Trade Locker, just so that you can get used to utilizing the platform if that's what it is, and just practicing. A free trial is essentially just a demo account with a demo environment. So just paper trading on a Trade Locker demo account is kind of what I would do to help your site, whatever it may be, just help you in your trading, whether it be psychological, working on your strategy, whatever, just getting reps in the market. I always say that reps are the most important thing. So if you can get free reps, that's even better.
I already took the L on this one US30 trade. I'm going to be a little aggressive with my trailing my stop. I'm going to move this one to break even, so I make sure not to take a second L on this trade. Still below my levels, so I'm okay with that. Makes this one risk-free for me. Yeah, look at that Bitcoin tank. You can't stop her. You can only
Oh yeah, it's at 92.
Let's go.
God.
Did it just break? Oh, okay. No, all-time highs is
Yeah.
at what, 93?
Nah, we have a little bit. Let me see.
Need some sound effects here. Look at that run.
Let's see.
All-time highs is at like 93.6.
Get
Oh yeah,
there,
it's
baby.
definitely
What new all-time highs
93.5.
today, baby? I'm taking a small. I'm talking a small trim at this level. We're holding for the moon.
Yeah, no, seriously, it can break the all-time highs today with this current volume that it's got. 110%.
So this daily chart now looks a little. We looked at this earlier. I said I like the Bitcoin daily chart. Just a nice small daily pullback to a daily buy. When we looked at it before, this candle was red. Obviously, it looks a lot better now. But I was that's what I wanted to see, is that buy, get a little bit of continuation. That's really what got me. I mean, we had the level hold, but the daily chart is what got me actually kind of excited about the Bitcoin chart.
And this 4-hour time frame looks really nice in terms of the kind of bullish trend that this 4-hour has been on since creating the all-time high.
I know a lot of people like it. Yeah, it does look good.
You can see that it's just holding those lower or those higher lows.
Yeah, so we have this this little area here. Right now it's looking strong. But yeah, I think we can see
the comment box. Yes, I do trade Sundays, and I actually missed my gold trade last night. That happened, and specifically only gold, because a lot of times, and even we seen this happen last week too, because this happened not just this week, it happened last week as well. A lot of times the markets will slow up or consolidate on Friday, which sets up for a move that when the markets open, that volume just comes almost instantly into the markets.
Yeah.
And
sometimes
so
you're right, man. It comes out right.
Yeah, so I do trade Sundays. I definitely miss because I would still be holding the buys from yesterday, at least a portion of it, just because of where we were at and how much volume we got. But definitely look to scale in on that move. Looks like that 30-minute candle did exactly what I pretty much thought it was going to do, and it retested the previous high, and then it's going up, which it can, like I said, go without me from this point. Can I show my screen?
Yeah, my bad.
No,
I'm
you're
zoning
good.
in.
You're good. You locked in. I don't blame
I'm
you.
looking to take a trim. I'm like,
So it came right back to that retest level that I was pretty confident that it would reject off of, just coming off of the previous 30-minute having
Yeah.
so much volume, tap into this level in a continuation. I said that if it tapped into that level, I would let it go. And why I would let it go is simply because I would have to take my entry off of this 5-minute candle. So in terms of where I'm looking to target, I'm not looking for this to go crazy long. I would want to just see the previous high get broken, or likely even the 1-hour candle to continue with volume. We have resistance over this area, so I said that price, if it breaks above and closes above, that we could see this high get broken. So maybe to this position here, but it changed. It would have changed the intraday risk to reward of what I was looking for, because all I essentially wanted was the previous 30-minute candle high to be broken. And I mean, you can see how it's executing off of here. But it came with too much. Let's see if we can see the smaller time frame shift. It came down, created a low, so we're in a bearish trend. And realistically, so I guess you could say when we broke through this area here, is where we had that 1-minute time frame shift after touching this retest level. So you got to wait for your retest level. We tap into that level here, and then you want to see a shift. So we didn't really see a shift until we got this initial break that just pushed all the way to the upside. And obviously this 5-minute candle, which would have been my entry candle, stops below. It just didn't offer enough risk to reward for me to be interested in taking that move. But that's pretty much what I expected. I'm not gonna lie. That 30-minute retest of
What did
that
you say
zone
last
here.
week? Instead of kid me not, lie me not. What'd you say?
Oh yeah, I think
Last week,
that's what I
remember
said.
Lied to
I
you
Yeah.
know I
not.
was on. I think I heard
Lied
you
to
and
you
Joe
Lied
or
to you
something.
not.
Lied to you not, yeah.
Lie to you
So-
not. Yeah.
I feel like it was like a gentlemanly way of like using that phrase.
It's funny because I never even thought about it like as even like a phrase,
It's funny.
that's something I say.
Such culture.
Cool.
Inventing
Yeah,
play
phrases
on
and
words.
words.
Yeah. So again, this is the same thing. So now we just got a new high break. Where would be the next entry? Well, you get a pullback back into your demand zone and a continuation break the high, because nothing yet has indicated that price is in a bearish trend. And since we just broke this high, this is the starting low that broke through this high. So now this becomes now my key low, that if it gets broken, we can see a larger time frame shift. We don't anticipate it to be broken. We really don't even anticipate price to come back this high. It's likely that we see a bullish continuation, another retest and continuation until the volume dies out here for the New York session, and we start to slip into that Sydney session volume at like around 1 o'clock or so. So
Yeah. And you like to reposition your lows like that on your 5-minute chart, don't you?
yeah, so it's basically just off of structure. So as we create new higher highs and higher lows, that's how I set it up. So like for instance, this was my first area, right? Where I wanted to see price get broken. We broke through that area. Sam said if 2603 was broken, which was this low here, he would look for shorts. And likewise with myself, because we had this was the starting candle that pushed and broke for this high here. So this becomes now a key low. So if this low gets broken without this high getting created, a new high getting created, this now is a larger time frame market shift. And so then what did we have happen after that? Well, we had a correction back down, didn't quite come to where I wanted to go to, but it did create a new high. So once it creates that new high here on this 5-minute time frame, this now becomes the key low down here that started for the push to break the high. Then you get a correction, then you break another high. that low just keeps getting trailed for the higher highs and higher lows, but you got to indicate the starting push of the move that broke for the high. And anytime you get a break of that low, you can start to see a shift, and it'll likely be aligned with some larger time frame structure. You'll have a strong bearish 1 hour candle close below this level here, the next 1 hour candle form the top wick, and then the continuation. Similar to how I expect it to form a correction because we just have so much volume. So we got this previous 4 hour close bullish, so we already know we're in a bullish market structure with a lot of volume. Then the previous 1 hour closes bullish. We wanted to get in on those 1 hour candles. The 30-minute is bullish, and then you just go down to the 5-minute time frame and you look for the structure. Where did the candle close? So for instance, this was the previous 30-minute candle close. I don't want to see this 30-minute candle low get broken. This is the lowest point, but it also aligns with this being the lowest point of the structure that broke for this high here. So whenever this candle closes in the next, okay, that's not a good example because it closes in 30 minutes. So whenever this candle whenever the 30-minute candle closes, I would expect the bottom wick a continuation. I mean, we could see it with this 15-minute or this current 30-minute candle. We don't have a bottom wick yet. It pushed up. It did break through the highs, which I'm not too inclined about. And it didn't form a bottom wick, but anticipating, likely another correction and continuation, or it could even be a shallow correction. And why I expected it to be a shallow correction, which is like a larger time frame retest, I have two zones. It's either a supply or demand zone or it's a retest zone. And so in times of higher volume, generally you don't get that pullback all the way to a demand zone. You'll see a retest zone more so like when we have high volume news events. Like if we had NFP being released, you would see a huge spike to the upside, and it's not likely that you would get a push all the way back into that demand zone. So you just got to find the smaller time frame retest zones, I guess you could say. To me, I see them as a higher risk setup because though price can form a flip at this retest zone, we can see a continued move to the downside to tap into that demand zone, which is my technical key zone, which has a higher. It not only gives you a higher risk to reward generally, but generally it's a safer trade too, because you don't run the risk of getting pushed. This is the previous lowest point. If this is broken, now we just know that it's not that we took a wrong trade. The structure shifted, which was similar to the move that I took last Thursday, if I'm not mistaken, when price was I think we had tapped into this air. No, let's see. What is this? This is the start of this week. Friday. Oh, okay, right here. So I wanted to see price tap into this level. We had already was creating lower lows and lower highs. I wanted to see price tap into this level and then a continued move to the downside to take out this low. That was my trade. So I got in somewhere within this area with a stops above this high. It happened after a smaller time frame shift. I believe it happened on a 1 minute time frame, but for time's sake, I'm not gonna get into. Yeah, you can see it. Excuse me. We tapped into this level here. Price formed this high, formed this low, double high. It came back down. It never really did break the previous key low, so I guess that was an indication that price wasn't going to go to the downside. But initially, I noticed that once we had this push, let's see, let's make sure this is this is not the right time. Where's my trade at? It had to have been within these levels higher up here. Oh, okay. No. This is okay. Yeah. So price was creating higher highs and higher lows. We broke through this low here. Then we corrected back up. That's when I went ahead on the smaller time frames because this is in my session time. And I took my entry off of price broke through this. Oh, right here. So as this, and it happened on the 1 minute time frame, but as this, let me show you. Is it gonna let me see it? Okay, here we go. So we had broke through these levels here. We corrected back up, came into my level of demand. I went ahead and went short from here, anticipating a break back down between this or below this low here. And what happened is we had a move into supply, and I think I was able to close this trade at break even. And then we had a steeper move up. It did in fact start to push down, but it broke through these highs up here, which we seen at the start of the session yesterday. during the Asian session, I believe, that started this move. So the
Mhm.
trade, yes, it was a wrong trade, but it was wrong because there was a larger time frame market shift. So we switched from being now in this bearish wave, relatively speaking, to now being in a bullish wave. So generally,
Yeah.
those are the trades. Those are that and liquidity grabs are the only trades that I should lose and that I'm okay with losing. Any trade that I take outside of my plan and I lose and things of that nature, that's, those are the ones that bother me. But in terms of like trades that actually abide by my system, the only time I should lose is when there's a larger time frame market shift. And then just from there, we capitalize on the continuation move. I was able to actually Friday get the continuation move that Cam had actually took almost the similar, if not the same exact entry on what move was it? Was it in here? Let me see. It actually might have been within here. Is where I took. Okay, yeah. So early within the week. All right. So we was in this bearish trend to the downside. Price had created this low here, created a high, created a new low. I wanted to see how price reacted here, and I went ahead and took a sell off of this level. This was my actual trade. So this, yeah, I knew this looked wonky. This was where my entry actually was. So I took my sell off of the 5-minute shift within this level. I think it was a 1-minute shift though, not a 5-minute. I strictly remember it being on a 1-minute time frame. After we had got that shift.
Yeah.
And then, price had pushed through. And then on the 15-minute time frame is where I took the second entry for the buy when price pulled back within here. So you can see it a little bit cleaner on the 5-minute time frame. We just got a break of my key high, which now indicates for me a market shift. Once we broke through there, market shift. It pushed down, pushed back up, came to my demand zone right here. And then after it closed bullish, I got in after this 5-minute candle with a stops below the low. And I targeted a 1 to 2 at this high up here.
Yeah. Any new traders out there watching right now, I think, any explanation you're doing on higher highs, higher lows, lower highs, lower lows, go research that, because I think that's a very valuable thing, and right there on your screen where you have it, if you widen that out left and right so your spreads, no, the other way. It's more of a zoom in.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, just get down the current, get your current zones down to the middle. Yeah, like that. Go over to your indicators button just left of it where your candlesticks are, and switch it to a line. Switch it to the line right there. Yeah. And that right there for new traders, I think is valuable. When you're speaking of higher highs, higher lows, for example, you switch that over to lines, get out candlesticks for a moment. It can help clarify like everything, half of what you just said, is I used to do that when I couldn't see the higher highs clear enough through candlesticks. I switch it over to the lines. I think everything you just said is so valuable for anyone listening.
Yeah, I use the line chart too, especially early on, because it can be hard to, especially
That'll trade
early
off
because I could see
analysis wise, right?
Yeah, it can sometimes be hard to see. So when I first started, I would definitely have the line just so that I could identify, okay, where's the high, where's the low. And then
Exactly.
as I've been able to, refine that, I started, especially once I learned about the smaller time frame. I'm not gonna say I learned about it, but I used to only look at the 30-minute time frame. So like sometimes I would see this structure and I'd be like, man, price is going up, but how can I capitalize on all of this? There's no pullback that happened. And so I would take, it was just, I only looked at the 30 minutes. So I didn't even have a higher time frame confluence either, which would also screw me up once you get into those higher time frame levels where you get your, expected larger time frame.
That's a really
pullbacks or
good
whatever.
point. I think a lot of new traders do exactly that. I know I did that until I wouldn't see an entry point until I went to a smaller time frame to find it. And it's amazing. It's right there a click away, but it took me forever to discover that as a trader.
Yeah. So once I was able to put together like how to align the smaller time frame with the larger time frame, and then how to put a plan to capitalize, and more so in the past, I want to say year or so is where I've been able to kind of dial it in, understanding that okay, on the 1 hour time frame we got this bullish candle that closed, or this previous bullish candle that closed. Like I anticipated this bullish candle before this bullish candle happened, because I understand what it would look like on the 1 hour time frame and then how that would translate over on the smaller time frame, and being able to get in. My best entries are in the bottom wicks of whatever the new start of the new candle is. So whether it be the 1 hour candle, the 4 hour candle, whatever candle I'm looking to get filled, the candle that's doing the filling is where I would like to be in at on its, in this case, a buy on the bottom wick at an area of interest. So being able to align all these different confluences is what, has helped a lot for my trading, because all of it, how I look at it and how I tell people is the markets are like a puzzle. The smaller time frame is the finite details of the puzzle. So if you're looking at an individual piece, and then you want to widen out to get an idea of what the whole puzzle is talking about, and if you understand what the bigger picture is, then setting up a plan to capitalize on the smaller time frame is relatively easier to do, because you have that larger time frame bias, that larger time frame direction, and then you set up a smaller time frame trade, which you target larger time frame directions, which gives you a larger risk to reward, is what I found out. My average risk to reward is generally about a 1 to 3, 1 to 3.5, depending.
Yeah, very well explained. Anybody want to listen to Kyron go to the For the Culture FX, right?
Yeah, for the culture effects. That's where I do. And I send out daily outlooks. So like for this morning, every morning, every time I get up, it's around 7 o'clock every day, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So 2 hours before the New York Open, I'll give a market breakdown and send it to my team. So everybody in my chat knew that I was looking for price to go up to these highs here, to retest that level, and then to potentially target these highs. Those were the two targets for today on the daily outlook, and then told them that we're just going to capitalize on a smaller time frame structure within that bullish move. It's always sent with a video breakdown. So I'll do a quick video breakdown. It's generally like 2-3 minutes long. I just go through, okay, this is what we're looking for today for gold. Same thing that we do on here. Same thing I do on here. I do essentially for my private group every day, and just, send it out to I have a free group and a private group. Private group, we do, weekend breakdowns. We'll go through the markets, things of that nature. But then in the free group, I also send, any setup that I'm looking at, next moves on gold, things of that nature. My actual trades and trade entries get sent to my private group, along with every day a daily outlook. Sometimes I'll send about 2 to 3, maybe 3 or 4 daily outlooks to my free group a week. But every day in that private, we go ahead and send out a daily outlook, whether it be, and like today's daily outlook was piggybacking off of what we were anticipating for last week. So we wanted to see this move up last week, and last week's daily outlook on Friday, we didn't get that. Sunday wasn't able to capitalize. I wasn't even looking at the market, so I didn't send out this move here, but they knew from Friday that we were expecting this move. Didn't catch it, we catch the next one, and just, continue to move forward. That's why I don't really trip over missed trades. There's always going to be a next one.
I love it. I like listening to you guys.
I appreciate it. I enjoy talking to markets, man. I just enjoy doing this and having somebody who, people who care to listen and to talk about it, and we can just go over, trades and setups and things of that nature. Bitcoin is over here.
We got a little pullback. I haven't trimmed anything. I was torn. The YM or US30 chart is kind of like at these pre-market highs, and then also you have like the psychological level of 43,600 on YM. And so I almost took a piece of it off, but I didn't. It's starting to get a little bit more of a pullback than I was hoping for, but we're still in both full. It's been I know we got our 2 hours here. I think it was a solid sesh. I obviously am hoping to get a little continuation on these trades. I am at this point, I'm risk free. My stops are break even on both trades. So I'll just be monitoring these for the rest of the day. And outside of that, I think we're going to hop off. If anybody has any questions before we go, feel free to drop them in the chat, and we will be back on Wednesday. Also, too, on on X, if you guys follow us on X or anything, even the comments on this video, if there's stuff that you guys want to see on these live streams that we're not doing, if you'd like to see any different types of things, let us know. Let us know. We want to try to tailor this so you guys are getting the most out of it and enjoying it. We're having fun. We're learning, all that good stuff. So thank you guys for tuning in. It's been fun, and we'll be back on Wednesday. We'll see you Wednesday. Peace out,
All right.
guys.
See you.
See you, Karen. Peace out, boys.